Still looks terrible. Jailhouse hair, don't care.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Little curls. Yep.
Okay. Do you want to start?
You should start.
We do this every time.
I know it's so bad.
How
do I do this? Say hi, everyone. I'm Erica from Fibersandfloss, Canada.
And then what are we talking about? Whatever.
What we've been working on.
Okay, sure.
We're having fun.
Okay. Hi everybody, Erica here at Fibersandfloss, Canada.
Hello, Samantha here, the Huga Stitcher.
We're throwing no, let's go for it. We're throwing together a video. We're at the cabin right now, and we've sent the husbands and the kids off to the beach, and we thought we would just finally film.
Yeah,
I guess, right?
It's pretty much our last full day here together, and Erica and I have been stitching up a storm. Mostly Erica, a little bit of me.
That always happens, though. That always happens.
But we've been having a lot of fun, and we've been looking forward to filming together our time here at the cabin and what we've been stitching on, so that we can share it with all of you, our experience so far.
And then we got super sick. I thought we'd film a couple times while we were here, to be honest, right? But then your husband was sick. Then you got sick, then I got sick, and we were all like, we were sick for like 5 full days.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Yeah, so second to last day, here we are.
Yeah.
Anyways, you want to just start with what we've been, our secret project?
Yes.
This is still a secret.
Been taking up the majority of my time since we've been here. But it's, I'm so happy that they're done, and they look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
So our secret project, this is something that we've been working on for the past 4 months. I would say
May.
Yeah.
Right? We started in May. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't really say what we're doing it for, but we've been stitching a lot. Let's show what we've been doing. At the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been making bumblebees.
So many bumblebees. Which is awesome. They have been so much fun. So this is a Mirabilia Designs free chart. She's got a few, right? So, but insect wise, we got bumblebees, and there is a butterfly. Yeah. And these ones they've been really fun. I'll do a close up of this one here.
We have stitched ours on the same color of linen, just slightly different sizes. Like this is a raw linen, and yours is done on a 30 count, we think? Yes,
the package says 32, but it does measure 30. And then things like we made a couple little changes, right? So in the edge of the wings here, it calls for a number 4 braid, and you use that, but I didn't have it initially, so I used blending filament. And then I had the braid came in, so I've done a combination of the two. But I think otherwise, did you have a substitution too for one of your?
I was using, it called for Magnifica beads.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't have, but I found a Mill Hill bead that is exactly the same color, just it's a rounder shape. Like you can see the beads are a little more, they are rounded beads near the outside, but exact same color. And yours are more square, like the Magnifica beads are square.
Yeah, do you want to, can we show both of them at the same time somehow? And see if you can pull yours in closer, that to focus. So mine have a bit of a, it's not really focusing. They're smaller and they have a bit of like a square edge to them. Whereas, bring yours in closer maybe. I don't know, it's hard to do the comparable. Sam's is definitely rounder and larger. So it looks a little bit different at the end of the day, but
they're so cute.
Only when you're comparing them do they look different, right? Otherwise they look
What was kind of funny, was it your husband that walked by and was like, what are you doing? How many of those are you making?
Yeah.
Yeah, just keeps going on. So altogether we have 4 each that we've made.
So we've made 8.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. They use like a whisper floss for the, to make the arms and the legs look fuzzy. That's kind of fun. There's actually a little bit of everything in here. You've got Krynic, you've got beads, and not only just Krynic, but you've got like 5 different colors of Krynic in here. There's like a gold, a green, a blue,
the copper.
The copper, and then the gold, the wing color, and then a silver color. Like there's so much in this little tiny bumblebee. There's so much to it.
It's a good sample, right? Like when we did our Mirabilia How to Stitch a Mira episodes. And we talked about, you know, Nora Corbett's are a great place to start because it's a smaller, you're not taking on a huge fancy lady, you're taking on a mini fancy lady, right?
That's right.
Or a small fancy lady. But these are really great too because, again, the pattern's free, albeit they're not cheap to make. Like if you don't have all of these, there's definitely, you know, 7 or 8 Kreinik in there. There's only maybe a couple strands of DMC, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But then the beads, again, if you want to go for the called for beads with the Magnifica and stuff, I mean, it's going to cost you a bit to kit
It's
it
a
up.
pretty penny. However, I feel like
You get a little of everything.
you do get a little of everything in here, but there's no reason why you couldn't improvise with some of your own, you know, things that you find in stash. Yeah, I feel like you could still make this work. I think the one thing that you have to have is the whisper.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
make it that fuzzy look to it. It's so cute.
And I think too, the green Kreinik, like greeny blue Kreinik, you know, when you look at like an insect and you look really close, like at a fly, and you can see it's kind of that greeny blue color. There's that in here, which
Absolutely.
I think makes it for sure.
It's just like when I remember looking at that color while I was stitching it, being like, oh, that is like a fly or a dragonfly, or like it's that certain color that you just see that sparkle in the sun when they fly by. You see that little glimpse of green. Yeah, that's the color. That's it. So that's been a lot of fun.
The thing that makes the ugly thing beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
The colors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so when I went to Issaquah with some of the stitching ladies, I went to Threadneedle Street and picked up some. So when Sam and I, we've beaded for years, and we always use like the Wild Eye Invisible Floss. Love to hate it, right? I mean,
I love it. I've always loved it. Like,
but don't you have that like, I hate this stuff?
no.
I do.
In the beginning I did, and then I got over it and I learned to love it. Like,
it's stretchy. If you stretch it too much, then you need a new piece. Then you just, it's working with something invisible is not,
not fun.
it's not easy.
Yeah.
See?
That
It's a
part
love
can
to
be
hate.
tricky. Yeah.
Anyway, so I had picked this stuff up. And this stuff was actually really fun. So there are these little bobbins, and I haven't had time to look it up. I'm not sure what the material is, and there's no way I can really show this on video, but there are these little bobbins, and when you look closer at it, the spin, the twist of the thread, I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like,
It's rope-like almost.
like every time you stitch with it, it feels like it locks itself in place in your stitching. Like it's not going to slip, it's not going to get misplaced. Whatever you've stitched, that stitch is going to lie there perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can.
I can't believe how much I enjoyed trying that out. That was so fun. To me, it was like all the things I love about the invisible thread I found in there, plus it felt stronger, and when you were completing your X of your bead, it just felt good. Like it felt like it was going to stay in place.
Yeah.
It didn't feel bulky, it didn't feel too thin, it felt secure.
It was good.
Yeah, I was shocked at how much I enjoyed using it, and what it felt like. Like it just felt easy to do.
It felt nice to stitch with it. And we were able to, you know, when I've been beading recently, I do pop it in a frame because I find that with the invisible floss, there is some stretch, and then I don't want it to, I don't know. I have this thing where I think it's gonna, like, you know.
If you pull on it too hard or something?
Yeah, you're gonna snag something, or something's not gonna work, or, you know, what if it looks really good in hand, and then I take it in to get it framed, and then they stretch it nice and taut, and then the beads pucker, or I don't know. But this stuff, I beaded all of them in hand. It was great.
Yeah, it felt really good.
Yeah, it felt really nice.
So Erica had picked 2 colors. She's got a gold floss and an ash color, sort of like a gray, right? And it was really wonderful on this fabric. It felt like it was a perfect match for color-wise. You can't see it. Like it's just as good as invisible floss on this fabric. It felt really like it matched perfectly. And I also tried some of the gold when I was stitching some of the gold beads.
Yeah.
And that was kind of fun too. And same thing, can't tell.
And you thought it felt different. It felt a bit waxy.
It felt slightly different. I don't know if it's made out of different material. What is this called? Sundance?
Oh,
Sundance beads. Yeah, beading thread, gold pan. This one did feel a little bit different. than the ash. This one felt more like a rope, and this felt more like floss, like dental floss, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I enjoyed that process. I'm so glad that you brought these with you so that I could try them, because I think I would love to get some of the ash color.
And I think it comes in like 40 something or 60 something colors. Like there's a lot.
That's so
to choose
cool.
from, so
Yeah, and I feel like a bobbin will last a long time too.
Yeah.
Like what you just need.
And if you're not sure about beading, we did a video on beading too, but if you're not sure about color choice, the recommendation is usually to try and match your fabric or use a neutral color, or other option is to match whatever your bead is.
Bead color.
So it kind of comes down to
Personal preference, absolutely. Yeah, but that was such a great experience. I really enjoyed trying that out for the first time. That was fun.
It's good. We talked a long time about that.
I know, but this was I stitched on this for a long time.
I'm so glad they're done though.
Yeah, this took forever.
We got here and I was like, let's do all the things and let's do this, let's do that. And Sam was like,
I'm stuck.
I have to finish my bumblebees.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. It killed us.
Yeah.
The first like maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Bumblebee.
Yeah. But then the last few days we've been stitching tons of other stuff and it's felt so good.
Yeah.
Right? To stitch on something else. So maybe I'll share something because I have a lot more to share than you.
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I have a different project I've been working on while I've been here, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know already. I have wanted to do an EPP, like an English paper piecing quilt, for a really long time, and I went to my local chitter chatter store, picked up some amazing fabric, and I've got to start it. So my idea is that if you don't know if you don't know anything about EPP, you cut out all these little hexes and then you glue them onto cards and then you stitch them together is the gist of it. And so I have this, we're showing bags today too.
Yeah, I love this bag.
This is Tula Pink. Absolutely love her. She's so much fun. And it's got like everything I need in here for making this quilt so far. And so what I've done is I've just started with the hexies and sewing some together. Kind of hard to right over the top of us. So that's where I'm at. This is a blue panel and you can kind of see the top is getting a bit more green and the bottom has a bit more purples and pinks. And so my goal is, I don't know, I'm just gonna sew a whole bunch of these and then I'd like to do a rainbow gradient. So right now I'm working on a blue panel that's about that width, and then I'm gonna have a few more hexies this way blending, and then green, and then a few more hexies blending to yellow, etc.
Wow.
So it's been fun, and it's a good little like airplane project, and it folds up into nothing. Throw it in your lap and off you go. As you sew them, if you don't know, this is the back side. You get to pop the little pieces of paper. I glue them. You can base them or glue them, and I glue. And then once they're sewn on all 6 edges, you can pop them out. And then so you do have that flexibility where it packs up real small, right? So yeah, that's a project I've been working on. I think it's really fun.
It's really beautiful, Erica.
And it's a quiet, when you get up, I get up early, right? And
You're
everybody else here likes to sleep. It's usually me and Sam's husband are up and we're like, put the coffee on, don't say anything. I'm stitching, right? Yeah. He's on his phone. But it's a good activity for travel and stuff too. So
yeah. How long do you think that's going to take you to do?
A long time. So a couple things I wanted to share about this. So an EPP quilt is definitely like a labor of love. It doesn't it takes a really long time, between like cutting, pasting, and then stitching each hex together, positioning, which one do you like, what fabric looks good where. It takes a very, very long time. I was watching, because I'm totally new to this. This is the first time I've ever done any EPP, and I was watching a couple of the Tula Pink videos, like tutorials on it, and I learned something super interesting, and I've been doing it with my cross stitch thread.
Okay.
And I haven't told Sam because I'm like, I want to do it on a floss tube with you. But I've got 2 knots in my floss in over a month, and that's it. And I don't know if that sounds like a lot to you, but usually
No, I usually get way more knots than that. Every time I stitch, I get a knot
at some point. It was super interesting. So she was talking about your thread. And I learned so much about it. So you know how threads they're on bobbins one of two ways. This one here, you can see how it's like crisscross. So that means that when thread is put onto a bobbin, it needs to come off on the bobbin and used in the same, like in a proper way. Otherwise, it's going to twist and you're going to get knots. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? So the ones that look crisscross like this, they actually go sideways on your sewing machine. Yeah, really? You know how your thing on your sewing machine, my sewing machine goes up and down and holds the bobbins this way, and your thing goes this way.
Yeah.
And it's because if it's crisscross, your thread is supposed to come off this way.
Okay.
And then it doesn't create any twist. Now, if you have a bobbin and you're looking at it and all the thread is stacked this way, then it's supposed to spin off sideways like this. So you have to take it off the right way, which I had no, does that really matter? I don't know, but I'll try it, right? And then, so once you take it off and you cut it, keep the direction of like the piece you've come off. This is the part you want to thread your needle with, and you want to sew with the thread pulling through the fabric this direction every time. And the reason being is that she said, picture your thread like an evergreen tree, where the top of the tree is really pointed, and as it comes down, there's all these little fibers that come off the side of it. And so you want to pull it through your fabric like thread, like pointed side up, and you want to pull all those little fibers through this way.
Yeah.
Because if you start sewing with the other end of your thread, you're going to be pulling that tree essentially like backwards through your fabric.
Yeah.
And then all your fibers kind of start to fray.
Fluff up.
And then you're going to get a knot. Also, you're going to get more twist, and the twist is going to create a knot. And then the third thing is, she's like, never, ever, ever lick your thread.
What?
I know. But the reason is because when you lick your thread at the end, so I was always told don't lick your thread because your saliva can like break down your fibers, over however many years. Yeah, right? Like who knows what's in your mouth. But what happens is when the thread gets wet and then when it dries, it poofs up. More. It gets larger and it knots. And I'm like, stop it. And so she's, in her tutorial, she's like, never lick the thread. Yeah. And so I have not, and a couple times I have. And if I have, I'm quick to cut that little end off right away and I throw it out. So I've been sewing with my thread, like mindfully in the right direction. I'm threading my needle the right way, really trying hard not to lick it.
Yeah.
And then sewing in the right direction. And I've had only 2 knots since I watched that tutorial at the end of July.
That's so interesting.
Which is crazy, right? Yeah. And so I've taken that not just with this EPP, but I've been doing it with my DMC floss and stuff like that too. And I've had no problems. So
that makes perfect sense. Like I was visualizing in my head, if you ever pet a cat in the wrong direction, how it's like, I don't like my fur being fluffed that way, 100%. Or a dog, and it's like, I'm visualizing the thread going through your fabric in the wrong direction, being like, hey,
it's not happy. Yeah. Well, and then depending, like if you're working with certain silks or really like,
delicate fibers,
they break. Like if you get like a really long, so another thing she said is that cut your threads short. She's like, you people cut them 3 feet long and you're just sewing like this. And she's like, it takes way longer because you're wasting time with these great big motions, right?
Yeah.
Keep your motions short. So keep your thread like 12 to 18 inches max of a sewing length. So if you're doubling up on that, you could double that length. But also she talked a lot about ergonomics and the act of like pulling your thread through. And so when I am stitching, I take my fabric and I go up and I pull up towards me. But she's like, if you can, try to pull down and away from you because your wrist naturally wants to fall down. Like it kind of wants to go this way. It doesn't want to come this way. And in pulling this way, it's a lot of stress here. And I was like, oh.
These are all things we do.
Right?
Like I do that all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
So my stitching, I'm still doing it my own backwards way.
But it's something to think about while you're doing it. Hey, let me try it.
Yeah,
this way.
but my EPP, I'm doing it the other way, and I'm like, it actually
feels good.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
Like I could stitch like that for hours and have no issue at all. So I thought those were some really helpful
Interesting.
tips. Yeah. That have actually worked well for me here. And I've been dying to tell you I'm stitching that way.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so crazy.
And you're sitting right there and I'm like, I'm saving it for the Flosstube video. And you're going to be like, what? Yeah. Okay. You share something.
Okay. Well, I wanted to share a little gift that Erica gave me. I celebrated a birthday this month, and when Erica came down and she's like, I got a birthday present for you. And I'm really excited to share this with you. She made me a new bag. And one of the special things, like, I'll show you the bag. I think you might have seen these recently, right? Because Erica put together these Teresa Kogut fabric bags that are so cute with the adorable bunnies. Oh, I love the fabric. It's amazing. And one of the special things, like Erica always finds a really special way to make things special. And she added a cute little charm that has the letter S on it for Samantha, and obviously it had to include a little butterfly. I love butterflies. Like, that's just so cute. And every time I use this bag, I'm gonna think of Erica, and I'm gonna store a special project in here, of course. I'm really excited about this bag. Do you have any more of these left in your, because you sewed some. Is this one all sold out?
Yeah, I think that one's all sold out.
But there's another one that's really amazing.
Yeah, I've got a couple of, I might have one more of those, I'm not sure. I'm not home, so I can't remember what I left at home, but I think I have maybe 4 bags left, and I can put a picture here if you guys are interested, but there's the 2 other styles that are quilted. I think I have 2 of each, and I might have one more of these. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure.
So pretty. I love the way that it's made. It feels like it's not like it, oh, there's nothing in it really right now. But it feels like as it flops down, but it's not like a normal project bag where it literally just like falls over if there's nothing in it. But it's got a stiffer feel to it, which I really like. Interfacing in the side, and beautiful fabric on the inside. And in this bag had a special present in there, and I'm excited about this. This is a Joan Elliott kit that Erica found for me, and it's called Ice Fairy. I'm excited about this because I'm just starting to get into Joan Elliott designs.
You should take it out because it's
I will.
shiny.
Yeah.
You can't see it.
I wanted to show you the back and all the floss. Let's open it up together.
So I was on Facebook Marketplace, and this lady had listed 2 kits. One was Joan Elliott, and one was like a nature, you know, I can't remember what was in the background, some sort of animals of some sort, kind of Robert Bateman looking picture. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, $20 for the kit, and I was like, oh, well, I can be there this afternoon. Yeah. Look it up, right?
Look at how cute this is. I love the colors in here. There's some really beautiful greens down at the bottom. That's Erica's favorite, those colors, but I really love it.
All throughout, like here, this is all green and gold trim all in there. It's really, really pretty.
Check out the floss. Look at this gold thread. I didn't know Anchor made gold floss, but there is like a metallic Anchor thread, and look at all these beautiful colors. Oh,
the lighting's really dark in here today.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to say is that this kit came with fabric. One of the things I love about doing a kit is that it does include everything that you need. You can just open it up and start stitching. However, I'm going to like not stitch it on the Ada. And Erica was like, brought a bunch of fabrics with her. Like, not a bunch, but she brought some fabrics.
A handful of fabrics.
Yeah, a handful of fabrics. And as she's like, wait a minute, I think I have the perfect fabric that will look amazing on that. And it is a 32 count Silver Moon Lugata. And it is the perfect shade. It's like,
it's so good.
It's like meant for an icy fairy, I think. Like, look at the look at the colors on there. It's gonna be so pretty, Erica. I'm so happy. So
look at
now
the shadow we're getting.
Now it's ready to get a start.
And then there's beads.
Oh,
you got
yeah,
those like these really pretty blue,
icy
silver blue beads. Yeah. And she's got these little animals. They're all tucked in around the base of her dress. I don't know if, I didn't notice that the first time I looked
There's
at
little
it.
bunnies in there. It's so cute. Love. Very excited. Gonna get a start on that real soon. I've sort of over the last, like the remaining months of the year, I have a plan for once a month for a brand new start. But I mean, I think I can squeeze this in somewhere. It's
She's
an
so
ice
pretty.
fairy, so maybe this.
And she's purple.
And
Purple's you.
Purple's
It's your
my favorite color. So this is definitely a project that I will store in my new bag, and possibly another one. I have another pattern that we'll talk about right away here that I will share this bag with, I think.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a new start while I was here, and I actually don't know how to pronounce it, so that's awesome. But
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna look at a video before I share this, and I didn't, so I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. But this is an exclusive by Modern Folk Embroidery, and it is a sampler from Drenthe, which is in the Netherlands. And it is Cardamom Pins. She did a video where she had gone to Amsterdam. She had went and picked up this this pattern as well. It's only available from the store. So if you're interested, I'll link the store below. So I was able to reach out to them and they sent it to me. You can either stitch it with DMC, which is the called for, or the Swaddle, which is what I opted to do. And then they can also, you know, your choice of fabric as well. I have to say I was a little bit disappointed in the fabric choice, right? Because you know, I said, oh yeah, I'll take the 40 count linen option, and I was kind of excited to see what was going to come, right? Because it's coming from Holland, and I don't know,
What
I have no idea what we're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
And it came with 40 count vintage country mocha, and I was like,
I have lots of that at home.
I have that. That's like my backup stash if I'm not really sure what I'm gonna, you know,
Yeah.
it's not anything special, but that's okay. So
I honestly, I love 40 count vintage country mocha or 32 count. Like
Yeah.
I have many projects that have been stitched on that fabric. And I have a collection of vintage country mocha at home, and it's beautiful.
I mean, it looks good.
But
It's just not special.
Yeah, like it's what you should have in your stash for a sampler if you're ready to kit one up and you just want to go. I have vintage country mocha, perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I would agree with you that if I was waiting for a parcel to come like overseas and be like, "Ooh, what am I gonna get?"
And then the other thing is,
But,
it's so small.
yeah, it's a small sampler. That kind of.
I had no idea. Like, I mean, I had looked at that, you know, and it doesn't look overly small. I don't know. I guess it's all relative though, too, right?
Yeah.
And anyways, I'll show you what I've done on it.
Oh,
It's so small.
it's so good though. It's so good. I love the colors. Oh, when you've been stitching on this, I've been
So
like,
small.
it's teeny tiny, but I mean,
We're also used to we stitch a lot of really big projects, right?
projects.
So for me, I'm like, this is
it?
really tiny. So I've done the blue in the border, and then some of that white that kind of goes around the top. And then I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Lammegien Pot or Lammegien Pot, 1852. And so I started the first part of her name up there, and there's a butterfly. And then, you know, I have to say the thing is with this, Jacob's so awesome, right? There's probably 4 or 5 pages, kind of the, you know, the story behind the girl that designed this. She was 13 years old. He included lots of stuff from the archives, like
There's even a map.
you know, the map of where the family's from, and they were like from a fishing village. So some of this stuff is not there. Like this is a picture of like the type of house they would have lived in. It's not their house, but similar to, and you know, a clipping from the newspapers at that time.
That is so
And
cool.
so when this had arrived, my mom was visiting with her sister, and my Auntie Claire does genealogy, and she was like, "Oh, let me see that." Right? And so, you know, she really appreciated the story and all that research in the background that goes into one of these samplers. So, you know, I've heard people say that sometimes they are kind of disappointed in the price of some of the samplers, especially like Hands Across the Sea, Modern Folk Embroidery. And when you know, I don't think that it's overly expensive. I think their prices are quite comparable. But when you look at the fact that they've done all this research and they put all this time in it, if you don't live there, you have to travel to that area and you're there researching this for like a month, you know? Never mind the fact that you're going to take apart their work, you're going to study it, you're going to reproduce it. It's a lot of work.
A lot of hours, a lot of time and effort.
And if the pattern's like $40, okay.
Yeah.
Like it could be a lot more than that, honestly, if they were to value their time.
That goes into the sampler.
Yeah.
I do want to say I love this design a lot. Right in the center, you see the ship.
Yeah.
I like when I first saw this, I was like, oh, that ship is going to be so fun to stitch. And the colors are like, you know, you kind of got that a little bit of muted colors in there, but then you've also got that combination of where you see the pops of red.
Yeah.
And you've got the dark blue and the light blue. It's really, really pretty. I think it's like a perfect.
Yeah, and then the blue situation. So, this calls for
DMC?
Yeah, 677, I think, or something, which is actually a gray, but it looks like in here, if you look at this butterfly, that looks like a gray, but maybe a light blue. Like in person, it looks like a light blue.
Yeah.
But that color, as you can see, is over here too. I don't know if you can see that so well. It's kind of a little bit blurry. But you got those birds, and then there's like a white heart, and then some light blue stitching on the bottom and at the top. And so with the Swaddle-J, there it is, and you can't really see a difference. So I've ordered a different lighter, like baby blue, that I'm gonna try for that.
Yeah. Just
because I want to have a little bit more contrast. So.
Do you have the Swaddle-J handy? No? It's okay.
Yeah, it's over here.
Okay. I've never stitched with Swaddle-J before, and I was just excited to watch Erica stitch this beside me to see, and she let me try a couple of stitches so that I could see what it feels like to pull.
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, we were sitting beside each other and you're like, just give it a go.
Oh yeah, so this is, I'm traveling, so things aren't my normal organized self, but look at this. This is how I'm keeping it right now.
Well, how are you planning to store your Swaddle-J when you
Well,
get
this
home?
was a question I had for people because I have never stitched with Swaddle-J before. This was the first time. And it's beautiful, it's soft, it's lovely, stitches great. But the storage I wasn't sure about. Oh, two of these are kind of falling apart already.
They're so pretty.
So much
Do you want to put them on the fabric?
Oh, sure. Good luck with that. Those ones are kind of,
Yeah.
but whatever. So,
Already got one. Those
yeah,
colors.
I have flossway bags. I have floss drops.
I think what I would do,
I haven't decided.
because they're silk, I would use flossway bag. Even though, like, I'm sort of getting into the sampler world, and I find that a lot of sampler stitchers, they will use like floss carts and have their floss hanging, and that's really fun. But I think with Swaddle-J silks, I would use floss-away bags. Oh,
you're trying so hard.
The red is actually my favorite part. Look at the way that pops off of the fabric, that red color. So I do think the Vintage Country Mocha is a good choice for those colors. I think they look really pretty. Fun.
It's just, it wasn't special, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of thought, oh, I'm going to get some really cool, like, hand-dyed something. But, I mean, and that's fine.
And while you've been down here, you did the whole border.
Yeah.
And you finished that butterfly moth.
Yeah. It's stitching up quickly.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, if you're interested in this, I'll link the shop. But also, if you go back to Carmen with Carmen Pins, she did a episode where she had gone to Amsterdam, and she had talked about this particular sampler as well. And with Drenthe, there's not a lot of samplers from that area, and she speaks to why that is. And she went to Jacob Palooza, and she spoke about that as well on that video also, because she had asked Jacob about that, because I think that's where her mom's family is from.
Really?
And so, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, you should go watch the videos. It's good.
I have a dream of mine, like, wouldn't it be amazing, you know, to find out that someone in your family way back when had a sampler with like, you know, when people come across those and they say like, oh, look what, I was working at Lizzie B's and a customer had come in and a family member had passed along a family heirloom, a sampler, and they weren't a stitcher, but they were like, they wanted to get the sampler framed, and they thought, well, better go to a cross stitch store to get this antique sampler. And when it arrived, when I had seen it for the first time, and you know, the framer had it laid out on the table with it in like how that was, they were talking about how they were going to frame it. I was like, that would be a dream of mine, to have somebody reach out to me and be like, hey, Samantha, I have this sampler that I like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And it's from the, you know, your great, whatever.
It'd be amazing.
That
right?
would be so amazing.
Yeah.
And what it made me start to think about is maybe I should create my own sampler for our family.
Yeah.
With our initials and you know, and our family members and the year and whatever, and start that so that it is something that like have a note on the back being like, when it was created, this was the house we lived in when it was created, you know, like the history behind it. And to start, even though it's 2024, but like start the tradition now and make that be an heirloom that gets passed along to the family.
My mom hikes, and she went to this lady's house once. They're having tea or something, like pre or post hike or whatnot, and she walked in, and my mom's she's a stitcher, and she's in the foyer, and she was just like,
stop dead in her tracks.
What? And you know, everyone walks in and they go into the house. My mom's still in the foyer, and she's looking at this thing, and they're like, Jen, where are you, Janice? And she's like,
I'm still at the front door.
Come back over here for a minute. And what had happened was this lady, I think it was her grandma, had stitched, embroidered this up. I have pictures, so I'll put some pictures in here. This absolutely stunning piece, and it was embroidered and cross-stitched, and all done in silk, and it was a fire screen, like,
ooh,
yeah, from back in the day.
A fire screen?
Like, so
like
if you had a wood-burning fire
yeah,
stove, then they would have like these wooden frames that would stand up, and then on the front, people would put like a decorative piece of stitching, and behind would have like a fire retardant backing, so like, you know, sparks and stuff aren't gonna fly into
over.
yeah.
Oh wow.
And so this lady had, I don't remember, she was from somewhere in Europe, and then somehow the piece had made its way back to her, and she had taken it out and she had framed it, and it was in their foyer. And my mom was like,
This is special.
took 10 minutes to like appreciate it, examine it, love it. Like, it was stunning.
Wow.
And the colors are crazy.
Wow.
Like, so
that's awesome.
you should totally stitch something,
right?
100%.
Well, Erica, didn't
Design a
you?
little something.
Erica recently bought a book that had like sampler motifs in it, and has been working. I hope you share it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can
And so she's been working
It's here somewhere.
on a special project that she put together herself. And as we were, you know, she was stitching on it, we were talking, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be kind of cool to like put your house in the middle of it? Like design a cross stitch that had like literally how your house looks, the front, you know, with the door on the side, or the door over the certain, how many windows you have. And that's the street view of what your house looks like.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
That would be so cool.
It'd be really neat if somebody put together a pattern for like design your own sampler. So, you know, if you're stitching the family, there's, you know, I don't know, 10 different motifs of little people, and you can just choose your hair color and put it in, and choose, you know, and here's me and my husband and however many kids. Do you have a cat? Do you have a dog? Do you have a rabbit? You know.
Exactly.
It would be fun. It'd be like choose your own adventure.
Yeah, I would buy that book.
I would
if somebody knows of a book that already exists that is like that,
right?
Please tag us and let us know. Yep. Because I think that would be something that I could get into, like charting up my own sampler with my own family on it, and the way our house looks, and
fun.
Our dog, and all the things. I think that would be really amazing. Yeah. Okay.
What do you want to do?
I wanted to share a little bit about Canada swaps. Did you bring yours? Yeah. Okay, good.
I did.
So while I've been here, like I have been trying to complete this stitch, and also to have it ready because it needs to go in the mail Labor Day weekend, right? So this is the stitch that I'm working on for my Canada swaps. It is called Night Terrarian by a Canadian designer, Cheryl from Tiny Modernist. And I fell in love with this design. It's a smidge bigger than it needs to be. It's a 4x6, I think I said, or was it 5x7? 5x7, I think it is, and it needs to be, you know, like a 6x6. So I kind of, you know, went a little bit bigger than what was asked in the requirements for this stitch for Canada Swaps. But I'm happy to share with you that I've finished the stitching, and it looks so fun. I stitched it on a 32 count. Look at that, 32 count black linen, and I have never stitched on black linen before, black anything.
Yeah.
And the colors like popped off the fabric. It was amazing to stitch. I, you know, would pick a color and stitch away and couldn't stop. Like, this was one of those patterns that as you're stitching on it, you're just like, let me just one more flower. Oh, I'm gonna stitch this little mushroom first, and then, oh, the house. And everything about this stitch was super fun to stitch.
I think anything like bright and vibrant off black is a lot of fun.
No kidding.
Like, you just fly through it.
I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed this chart. Like, I knew it was going to be fun to do, but once I started going, I just couldn't stop. And, you know, even getting the shape of the bottle in there, that was fun to do. So it's all done. It's all stitched. Before we leave, I'm really hoping that Erica can help me put this together. Yeah. So we went shopping one day, went into the city and got some materials from Michael's.
Yep.
So I'll share with you what we had picked out. We picked out a white, well, it was a wood box that we have painted black. Actually, my daughter painted it for me. She was bored. She's like, what can I do? I'm like, oh, you need a craft? Okay, you can paint the box for me. So we've got a solid black box, and we've picked out a really sparkly gold paper that's going to go on the inside of the box. So when you open it up, it'll be like, poof.
It'll be cool.
So fun. And actually, I thought to myself, that actually looks really cool with the sort of like the cork at the top of the bottle. That's what it kind of reminded me of.
The colors are all super vibrant.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, it's gonna look really good all together.
And so what we plan to do is we're going to use some sticky board and get the fabric on the top of the box. And then we found some really fun ribbon with all like colors that were literally from the design. You know, there's green, there's yellow, the orange, blue. And we'll put some trim around the cross stitch.
You know, we'll be finished. We could put some pictures.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have this finished before.
Okay, well, we'll pop it in.
Over. Yeah.
So this is the before.
Very fun.
Yeah, and the after.
And then we can trim the box with some of these ribbons. Like, this is just that, you know, I can't remember, $15 or whatever at Michael's. You get a whole bunch of like miscellaneous stuff.
It's perfect.
And it will work well because of the colors, for sure.
I'm excited to see this come together. That's gonna be fun to do. And then we're gonna pop it in the mail, get it sent off.
For sure. That'd be good.
Yeah, somebody out there.
The one that I chose to do, I can't remember the name of it now, but I think it's Canada Tier. I didn't bring my pattern with me because...
I think you're right. I think it's Canada.
Whatever.
It's a tier tray.
Something like that. Anyways, it's Erin Elizabeth Designs. I decided to stitch it very, very tiny. And so it's actually stitched 1 over 1 on...
Vintage Country Mocha.
Yeah. I think it was a 32 count. Looks like a 32 count to me. Just using the Called for DMC colors. And then when I was done, I just thought I'd make a little notions bag with it. And the inside of the bag, I have some really nice French General. And I don't remember the fabric for the outside. It was part of a Christmas line.
I remember when you made those Christmas bags. But it's very Canadian.
It's a nice line, but
you know, with the red and white, and your stitching looks adorable.
A little charm on there. Yeah. So,
oh my gosh,
I'll pop that in the mail. Little notions bag. At least it's something functional, you know, because it's, I don't know. Well, I like to make, if I'm making something, I want it to have some sort of function for it, but yeah.
I think it's perfect.
Be cool to see what other people make too, because I think,
Karen,
yes,
Stitching Owl, she has requested that once we're finished our piece, to take a photo of it and to send it to her, because she's going to put together a video of everyone who has participated in Canada Swaps.
Yeah.
And what everybody, that's so cool.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm really proud, you know, like to be Canadian and to be a part of Canada Swaps, because it's this was the first one they've ever done.
Yes.
And to see, you know, the effort and the time that went into, you know, coming up with the idea and organizing it with everyone put a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And, you know, after it's all done, we'll have to see how it goes. And maybe Karen and the two base stitchers will decide to do it again. Yeah, so.
And the neat thing was the stipulation this year is that they wanted it to be a Canadian design as well. And so, you know, that kind of stumped me for a little bit because I thought,
What am I gonna do?
yeah, like what are the Canadian designers? I mean, there's, you know, there's a handful that you'll get off the top of your head going, oh yeah, you know, those ones are well known. But then I started looking into it and I was like, oh, I didn't realize they were Canadian. I made a video.
Yeah, for Canada Day
video, and asked people to reach out if they had other Canadian designers they knew about as well. And so I have a huge list of Canadian designers on that video, and there's quite a few out there that I had no idea of.
We need to explore and to find our favorite chart by each designer and start purchasing them and stitching them up. You were mentioning that you wanted to try a Jeanette Douglas. She's Canadian, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And she does a lot of like sampler style, but also some that have like some really cool stitching in it. Like, you know, more like
all of her pieces have
some element.
I don't even know, probably at least 5 specialty stitches. And she uses some different, you know, mediums as well. It's not just DMC floss or fancy floss. You know, she's using some of like the pearl cotton or different cording or different sort of embellishments that go on it. And I think that that's really neat as well, just to do something different. And I think, you know, when we look at, you and I are both kind of gearing up to do a chatelaine, and that's similar too because there's a lot of different specialty stitches in that. I've done canvas work, which again, it's similar, the different stitches, different mediums,
different materials.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been trying to do over the last few years is to experiment with different materials. Like, because there's DMC, okay, got that, check. Been collecting for years, you know, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna dabble in silk, okay, get up a project in silk. And then like if you've ever gone to a needleworks shop before and you walk around and you see all these different threads, or you see a customer buying something in a section, you're like, what could they be stitching that for? Like, what designer do they, you know, like there is a whole world of different designers, different types of stitching, different materials that you can use. Like, I want to just broaden my experience, I guess, on all of those different things.
Well, and the guild you go to would be good for that too.
It is.
Because you have a lot of, it's a different generation of stitchers too. You know, and they're not just doing cross stitch, right? Like,
yeah, I get to see a lot of that. Beading too, like in the guild, there are many guild members who are into beading. There's gold work. There's so many things.
Lots.
When I go to a guild meeting, I tend to, you know, I cross stitch. That's what I do. It's my comfort while I'm around other stitchers. I just want to sit at the table and cross stitch. But during the meeting, I get to see what other people are stitching on. We always have like a show and tell, maybe a completed project. There's somebody who did a stocking, and then there's someone who did a beaded ornament, and then there's someone who did, you know, some gold work. And it's really amazing to be around all those women and to see their level of stitching, and it's inspiring. At the end of the day, when I go to a meeting, I'm fully inspired. I go home inspired. All I want to do is stitch a ton.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really do need to venture out and try new things because I have this like network of knowledge around me that I could ask questions to. Be like, show me how to do this.
And I was just gonna say, all those ladies will 100% teach you whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the neat thing about a guild too, and just having that connection with somebody else in the community that is passionate and wants to share their knowledge.
Like,
and those
please
skills.
sit beside me. I will show you. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure. Very cool.
Very, very special. I wish that it was something that we could coordinate because I would love to take you one time as a guest. Every year it goes by. Yeah, I know. Next time, maybe.
This is the problem living so far apart, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't I share the Sarah's thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How fun.
I've got everything here.
Yeah.
So Samantha and I are doing a round robin stitch with Sarah, Lady Lugana. And if you watch our videos, you know all about it. I'm not going to dive into it, but I got to get my hands on Sarah's piece. And I'm super excited to start this. This is a special pattern for her because it was the first pattern and her mom had bought it for her. And, you know, we selected a pattern we wanted to just get some more progress on and get it moving along. And so she sent it out to Sam first, and you stitched on it a bunch. And then because I was coming out this way, we opted not to mail it, that I would just collect it from you when I'm here. And so in there was this beautiful little card and note, and then of course a little Scotty dog pin. And then she put some goodies in there. So we got some floss,
some silk.
Yeah, some really nice one. The thread gatherer and some water lilies. I love the color of that there. It's kind of like a burgundy. It's rich. Copper. Yeah, it's very, very nice. And then she sent lots of goodies. She sent some chocolate from her local chocolatier and some coffee or tea drops. There's a bunch of these, which I don't know why we haven't had that while we've been
we'll leave
here.
that out and we're going to try
should
that
have
later.
This afternoon.
For sure.
And then she added the Village Inn from one of the Mill Hill kits,
I love
buttons and beads, and it's so much fun. And there's a little, I don't know if I can zoom in. There's a little wooden Santa Claus down there too.
A snowman.
Oh,
A little snowman.
Oh,
Button.
my brain's not really. It's not braining, as my children would say. See, there he is, right back
So
there.
cute.
And of course, it has everything you need in it. So that will be a fun one to do this winter. And it's stitched on perforated paper, although I've seen people stitch this on the fabric instead, and I think I might do fabric instead. Just because when you look closely, see all those snowdrops, you can see like, you see the white being carried in behind. And it's quite a dark paper, so it doesn't look that dark, but there you go. It's like
Those
a dark
colors
brown.
just scream Christmas.
Yeah, so that's really, really fun. So thank you very much for that, Sarah. And I got to start her piece. So I'll put a little picture in here of where it was when I had received it from you. And then, of course, nothing here is ironed. Cabin life, right?
Yep.
And then this is where we're at now. And so it's funny, I had actually started, can you see it okay? You can see it better than I can. Started stitching it, and my daughter was like, what is that? And it was actually, she's a pretty decent stitcher, so I was like, oh yeah, you wanna, she's like, yeah, I wanna work on that too. So I've got a picture of her stitching away on this, and we've had a lot of fun with it so far. So we're basically, this is the area that we've been working in. So just doing a lot of this confetti stitching, and I've decided to start doing some of the back stitching as I'm going, because there's so much back stitching in this piece. And then we've spread into some of this rose here. I think most of this was already done either by you or Sarah, I'm not sure.
I think, yeah.
So yeah, got a little start on that, which is nice. And this is like, what did we figure? 28 count? No, 14 count Ada? 14 count Ada. With the called for just the kit floss, right?
Yeah.
No changes, I don't think.
It's a beautiful design. It's really fun.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. So we're actually stitching this little bit in here right now and there. So my goal would be to try and get this area here done, but we'll see. I'm not, do we have 2 months to do it? Maybe
I think so.
Something like that?
There's no real rules. You know, a lot of people ask me questions about this, like, oh, like, is the project need to be finished when it goes back to the person? You know, like, no. It's a big project. We all selected really large projects, and it's just fun to go through, like, stitch on it for a while.
Yeah.
Stitch on what you feel inspired to stitch on. I find that when you have a brand new project in your hands, like your needle's on fire, right? Like you're just like,
for
oh,
sure.
This is a fun project. It's like a new experience, and then pass it along to the next stitcher.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll get it back. And I hope that when ours come back to us, and there's been some stitching done by our two friends, that it's going to be like, oh yeah, now I want to like light a fire in you to like stitch on it some more too. And I think Sarah, like, this was a very small start on her, well, it was a decent start on her project. When she gets it back, she's going to be like, oh yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait. Yeah. Can't wait to stitch on it.
Yeah.
Fire it up to finish it one day.
Very fun. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to dive into that one?
Can I share my birthday start?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Okay, so while I was down here, like my birthday had passed you know, and I was like, when I have a birthday start that I really want to do.
Yeah.
But I was focused on getting my projects done, and I did. So, and then once I did, I was like, okay, it's time to have some fun. I'm going to stitch on a mermaid. I have a chart here that was a freebie by Nora Corbett. This is a Mirabilia mermaid from the Australian retreat. I want to talk a little bit about this actually. You'll notice the logo is called Linen and Threads. Now in Winnipeg, there are many linen and thread followers. Like I noticed this when I was at the store. They used to have a stitch along every year where it was a free chart, and people would come in like right at the beginning of the year and be like, I need to kit up these colors because I'm doing the linen and threads stitch along. Now I learned later on that Linen and Threads has gone through a change. They changed their name, and it's Fox and Rabbit. Fox and Rabbit are Karen and Brennan from Australia, and they used to do, I don't know if they still do, I follow them, but I don't know if they still do the Mirabilia retreat, but I'm pretty sure that this was their retreat in 2017. Linen and Threads went through a change, and they changed their name to Fox and Rabbit. And they still do. What?
Can you? Oh, it's a free chart.
It's a free chart.
I was like, oh my
still,
God,
you can't really show. You
chart.
shouldn't show charts, but it's a freebie, and I mean, it's back here. But yeah, it's a free chart, but Linen and Threads.
For a minute.
Fox and Rabbit still does a yearly free stitch along.
Yeah.
That starts every January. They've carried on the tradition. And anyways, I just wanted to point that out. But this is the 2017 Mirabilia retreat, and it's a cute little mermaid. And
Something for behind it.
I'm stitching this one on a fabric that Sarah, Lady Lugana, had gifted me last year. It's the Nora fabric from the Queen City retreat that she had attended. Oh my gosh. It's called Nora, and it was screaming, stitch a mermaid on me, Samantha.
It's so beautiful.
And so I've gotten a great start on her. I have stitched all of her skin. I still need to do some back stitching, but her hair is done, her skin is done. And you can see in the design where it's sparkly in the center that it is a blending filament, Krynic, one strand that I decided to use, and it's super sparkly, and soon it will have like clear beads and pearl beads all through there.
Look at those colors.
Yeah, the colors are
They're going to be so good on there.
Like I can't wait to stitch the tail because it's going to be all those beautiful blue water lily silks that I'm dying to get into. But I'm pretty impressed with my start. Once I got going on this, Eric was like, wow, you're like stitching a ton.
And I wasn't sure about the hair, right? So you have the dark hair and then the much lighter hair. But it looks really good.
I kind of wanted to copy what the picture looked like in here. I was missing a color. It's Copper by Water Lily Silk. I didn't have that one. So I actually improvised. I grabbed, I think it's called Pecan by Weeks Dye Works. And it kind of gave that same sort of effect. And I love it. I'm so happy.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that fabric, like it couldn't be more perfect.
It couldn't be more perfect. I ended up cutting the fabric so that I could stitch maybe another mermaid.
Yeah.
On like a mini one, another freebie, because I believe there's a couple of them out there. So I'll be able to like stitch on it.
And the new one,
yeah,
is gorgeous. The 2024 one.
It's really, really pretty.
Like we need that pattern.
How do I get my hands on it? I don't know.
So you can't get it yet.
Yeah.
But the hair is so beautiful, and it like swoops behind her whole body. And I was wondering if they use pecan again for that.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Because it's
the way,
it's variegated and it's gorgeous. Like
yeah.
you can,
maybe it's the water lilies. Water lily silk maybe, because it's a variegated floss.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
But yeah, I'm dying to get to the tail, but I'm really happy about my birthday start. You know, being here at the cabin is like, you know, in the water and going to the beach all the time. I really wanted to stitch a mermaid.
It's so perfect.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. So that was my birthday.
And it's a quick stitch. Like,
yeah.
The mermaid's a third done.
Yeah. Also, I had a special charm. Did I share this already? The charm that I'm going to use?
Yeah, show it again.
Okay, so I went through my stash and I was sort of looking through beads and charms and stuff that I could add into the design. And I found some Swarovski crystals. You can't really see in the bag, but I found a few, like there's like 5 in here. And I was like, ooh, I'll put that in the crown maybe. Like I'm putting it in the bag. When I get to the beading, I'll find a spot for it, I think. And then I also came across this charm. Now it's like this ocean, it's a heart, and it's got this beautiful oceany, beautiful colors.
So good.
Oh my gosh, it's super sparkly. And I'm like, I have to put, like I put it on the fabric, that's going somewhere. And what I was thinking, we'll see when I get there, but I might hang it from the tail in one of the spots here. Or I'm not sure yet, but I'm feeling the tail. Somewhere in the tail, I'm gonna put that heart charm. So beautiful, yeah. Oh my gosh. So I'll find a spot for it, but it looks really, really pretty on the blue fabric. Oh my gosh. That's going
It's
in
so
there.
perfect for a mermaid, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like there has been a mermaid stitch. Like I feel like
that use that?
Yeah, there is a mermaid that has a purse. She's got a huge tail and she's holding a purse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is the charm
purse?
that's in the purse. Yeah. Yeah. I would love to do that one actually one day too. So many.
All the mermaids.
All the mermaids.